Hello and welcome back to the channel. DJ here again with some startling news here, and it's regarding Hamas. You know, that terrorist group running the Gaza Strip and attacking Israel whenever they can. Well, it's their information that they gave, their death list where they claimed people had been killed, was patently falsified. And I have the details. Hamas has quietly removed thousands of names from its official casualty reports in the Gaza, prompting fresh scrutiny of the accuracy of the death toll figures that have been widely cited by media and international organisations since the start of the Palestinian terrorist group's war with Israel. Widely cited by media, our traditional press. Analysis, I'm having trouble with my words, aren't I? Conducted by Salo Heisenberg of the US-based non-profit Honest Reporting, and first reported on by the Telegraph, revealed that 3,400 individuals listed as killed in early updates released by Hamas, by the Hamas-run Gaza Ministry of Health in August and October, no longer appear. Now, they did this in August and October of 2024, but they no longer appear in the March 2025 report. Among those listed as dead are 1,080 children, no longer dead. And I've pointed this out many times in another blog, where I've pointed out that I watched a film in which there was a lorry with all these Gaza Strip Hamas supporters and civilians lying dead on the back of a flat lorry bed. And while they're filming, one of the guys opens his eyes, sits up to have a look around, realises the camera's on him, and falls down pretending he's dead again. And you know, I saw another young boy, 13 or 14, I saw him 3 times filmed as dead in 3 different situations. So, you know, it never fooled me. Now, Hamas have manipulated the number of fatalities they've reported since the start of the war, overcounting civilian deaths and concealing combatant losses. I took all the... Now, this is Eisenberg, and he's saying, I took all the unique deaths and ID numbers from August and October list in 2024, and I combined them. I removed duplicates and then compared it to the March list, and there were 3,400 names that didn't appear. He said, in my mind, 1,080 children were particularly noticeable that they were not there anymore. Eisenberg said the systematic inflation of civilian death tolls by Hamas is not a new phenomenon. They have done this in every round of the conflict. For example, in 2009, Hamas initially claimed that there was 1,300 Palestinians died, and only 50 were combatants. Months later, Hamas admitted it was in fact 600 to 700 of the 1,300 deaths were their fighters. Up to 700 of the 1,300 were their fighters. The casualty lists compiled by the Gaza Ministry of Health are distributed as downloadable PDFs and include personal details such as names, identification numbers, and dates of death. These lists have been widely cited by international media and relied upon by humanitarian groups and the United Nations agencies monitoring the toll of the war. The Health Ministry is under the control of Hamas, which governs the Gaza Strip. The discrepancy in figures has raised questions about the continued reliance on these datasets, especially given mounting evidence of inconsistencies. Well, yes, why wouldn't they? The evidence is now all out there in the public domain. Andrew Fox, a former British paratrooper who has worked with Eisenberg on data verification projects in the past, told Al Jemima, these Hamas numbers are error-strewn and clearly manipulated. Eisenberg built databases by converting the PDF lists into spreadsheets, allowing for comparative analysis across different time points. The process revealed that in the March 25 report's inconsistencies, with thousands of names removed, were supposedly confirmed in prior lists. The findings cast doubt on previously unchallenged casualty estimates. Well, of course, they've always been untrue. Hamas has claimed that more than 50,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the war began in October 23, and Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, said it had killed 20,000 Hamas combatants during that time and maintains it takes extensive precautions to avoid civilian casualties. The IDF has never and will never deliberately target children, the IDF said in a statement. According to a December report authorised by Fox and published by the Henry Jackson Society, nearly half of those killed in Gaza were combatants, directly contradicting claims that the vast majority of casualties are civilians. The report has also pointed to democratic inconsistencies, including the repeated listing of women and children to support allegations of indiscriminate attacks, and lowering the adult men's ages to inflate the number of minors reportedly killed. Well, we're finding immigrants, aren't we, are lowering their ages. There's men being classed as children when they're obviously bearded, tall, hair on the chest, and they say, "Oh, I'm a child." No. Do you believe it? I don't. They can't say it's a genocide when half the people that have died are combatants who are still fighting. See, they claim they died, then he says they're still fighting. Fox told Al Jemina at the time. The debate over casualty figures was intensified by February 2025 article published in the medical journal, The Lancet, which estimates that Gaza's true death toll could be as high as 64,000. That estimate was based on the statistical extrapolation using capture-recapture methods applied to the subjects of the ministry's data. Researchers behind the study said that they only used what they called hospital-recorded deaths from June 24 and asserted that these records were the most verified. But Eisenberg said that the claim does not hold up to scrutiny. He reviewed the same June dataset used by the Lancet study and found that 881 names in that core group were later removed in the March update. In his view, this undermines the foundation of the statistical model used to estimate excess mortality. They do this very careful statistical analysis, taking 3 lists and doing capture-recapture from vetting lists of hospital-recorded deaths, Eisenberg said. And then I took their June list that they had used again in the February report, and I found 881 of those also removed from the March list. So even after really careful study, core data sources are not valid. Past reports have noted that casualty forms used to populate the list could be submitted online by anyone with access to a Google form, raising concerns about verification protocols. Despite these issues, some international entities, including the United Nations and news outlets, have continued to cite the figures from the Gaza Ministry of Health, occasionally with a disclaimer that the numbers could not be independently confirmed. Fox said caveats are insufficient and that the deletion of Hamas' own published records are, in his view, stripped away any plausible justification for continuing to rely on the ministry's figures. It is malpractice and deeply irresponsible on the part of the media organisations to still be using them. There is simply no excuse for repeating them as credible, he said. Well, what do you think? I know what I think. I've been viewing these data figures for some time now. I've watched the videos given by Hamas and seen them to be false and falsified. I've sure you have as well. I'm aghast that the media, the Western media, insists on believing Hamas. Hamas responsible for the attack in October 2023, when they attacked those people in an open-air concert, attacked the houses, raped the women, killed the babies, murdered men, took them captive, took them hostage, killed some of them while they was in the hostage situation, and then drip feed Israel a few here and a few there in exchange for thousands of theirs. And our media supports their submissions, their data. No. What do you think? Let's hear from you. I love to hear your comments. I love to read your comments, and I love to answer them. And I ask you something else. Please subscribe to the channel. This is the only way you're going to get this sort of news, because the traditional media won't tell you. They are keeping it from you. We need to know the truth, but the truth is being hidden. Not only with the Gaza Strip, the Hamas versus Israel, but the truth about people being arrested for silent prayer, for expressing things on pieces of paper, or expressing things in Facebook, in YouTube, in X. Police coming round knocking on your door in the early hours of the morning to frighten you, to intimidate you. Unless we know, unless we speak up, we're never going to get out of it, and we're going to get into lots and lots of trouble. We're going to lose our freedoms. We need to know the news, what's happening in the world, what's happening in our country. So please subscribe and I'll get it to you. I'll do my research. And so until then, I'm going to say goodbye. So be safe, be good, and goodbye from DJ. Bye.